The camera is a relatively small bodied camera, not too dissimilar to the size of a DSLR, but there's some key feature differences to the camera. We have two models. We have the EF-Mount model, and we also have the Micro Four Thirds mount model. So as we look at the front of the camera, this camera is the Blackmagic Cinema camera with the EF mount at the front. You can tell this by the size of the turret. It's approximately 3 finger widths wide. Now if you actually look at the Micro Four Thirds version of the camera, the turret is actually about 1 finger width wide. The main reason for this is that you can actually apply a PL mount lens to the Micro Four Thirds, which means that glass is staying much closer to the sensor. As you kind of see the camera, you'll notice that the screen on the back also doubles up as a touch screen. So this is the menu button. This is where we access the touch screen on the back of the camera. Now starting at the top, we have record settings. So I'll go to the top there, record settings. I have camera ID. If I touch that, I can then access the camera ID, type in the name of the camera. As I move down there, you see the ISO, so I can go from 200, and if I tap this, I can go all the way up to 1600 ASA. I've also got on there as well white balance settings, so dependent on the environment that I'm in, I can white balance the camera to a certain level. So again, I can go all the way up to 7,500, and I can go as low as 3,200. In this environment, we'll probably move that back up to around about 5,000, 5,600. We've then got a shutter angle that's adjustable from 360 degrees to 45 degrees, so we can jog through there as well. We've got audio settings, audio and mic levels. On all your incoming audio, we're there able to set the levels coming in and out. And then the record setting, this is where we choose whether or not we want to record in ProRes, RAW, which is the Cinema DNG, or also DNx HD. So this is something quite unique. You're looking at a 12-bit RAW image, which is Cinema DNG with 13 stops of dynamic range, which is huge. Also, as well as Cinema DNG, we also offer ProRes support and DNx HD support. That's a 10-bit ProRes HQ file, which means that again, when you take that file, say into Final Cut Pro 10, or if it's a DNx HD file and you take it into Avid, you actually are bringing through a very high quality image, and also with the ProRes file, you're bringing through all the metadata as well. Dynamic range allows us to set the dynamic range to either film or video, so depending on what look you're looking to achieve or whether or not you want more manipulation in the color grading process, you can actually select either a film or a video look in the dynamic range. Frame rates, we actually have start at 2398 and we move all the way up there to 30 frames per second. In the display setting, we can set the brightness of the screen at the back, also how we view, essentially whether the view is a film view or a video view. We also have zebras, so we can go from 100 off to 75, 80, 85, 90 and 100%. And then frame guides is for the output of the camera. So on a monitor you'll either see frame guides, in this case it's on. If I select that, we can turn them off. So by incorporating a touch screen, not only does that give us a software interface, which means that we can add things and remove things quite simply, but it also means as well that when you're navigating through, things kind of seem more like they're in the right place. Now when you're actually recording the media, you have a couple of options. You can either record it on the SSD drive, which is at the side. You'll also notice as well there's a small USB port here, which is for firmware updates of the camera. But if you want to record directly from the camera, on the opposite side we actually have an SDI connection, and we also have a Thunderbolt connection. So if you want to record this directly to your Mac, you can literally take the Thunderbolt connection out of the side directly into your Mac, and then using Media Express, which is our capture software, you can capture that 2.5K video footage right there and then. We then have our audio connections, which are 1/4" jack. We then have our headphone connection at the top, and then we have our remote LANC as well at the top as well. We have the power connection at the bottom of the camera, which is a standard 12-volt power supply. That's worth recognizing because obviously you can connect an external battery to the camera. In the top right-hand corner, I've got a focus button. Now that's focus assist. If I actually hit that button, you'll see that I start to get these yellow and white lines that appear. What that actually means is that as I start to sharpen the focus, I can now start to see where the detail is. And if you see around the front of the image, you can see that detail around her nose. Now also what I can do is I can double tap the image and it will zoom in 200%. So it'll also give me the ability again to fine tune that focus. If I want to set my iris settings, I can use the buttons at the bottom here to increase and decrease the iris settings as and when I need to. This is controlling the iris settings on the lens. I've also got an auto iris there as well, which if I hit that button, that will auto iris the camera relevant to the image which you're seeing at that moment in time. So obviously the camera was set at 2.5K, and that was for a reason. We still believe that a lot of people are delivering footage in HD. So at 2.5K, what we're looking to do is give people a high enough resolution to be able to crop and scale that image down to HD when delivering. What also is important is that the relationship between this camera and DaVinci Resolve is almost seamless in many ways. So that 2.5K resolution combined with the 13 stops of dynamic range is the perfect companion for DaVinci Resolve, which obviously comes free with the camera as well.